found such a cool guitar. I want to show you this thing. I'm Jeremy, this is Guitar Hunter, and this thing showed up in my life a few days ago. Now this belongs to a very sweet little old lady at my church, Miss Martha Jane. And Martha Jane has owned this Sigma for a long time. She has loved it, she has used it, and the main thing you need to know about this lady is that she loves Jesus. And it's very clear just in her life, in her guitar, in this case. There's just so much stuff that points to someone who has just used an instrument to fill the world with worship. And that's really wonderful to me and really special. So this guitar needs a lot of TLC. So that's what this video is. I don't own this guitar. It still belongs to her. It's going to stay with her as long as she can play. Now, we need to make sure that this guitar can play. So, in this video, I'm just going to clean this thing up. First, we're just going to look at this guitar, talk about it, see what it is. I'll give you a little bit of background and history, the best I know it, about Sigma guitars. This is the DR-28. D stands for Dreadnought, R stands for Rosewood, 28 stands for the series. So it would look more like a 28. So it would have, this one does not have a herringbone binding, but it would have the white binding, rosewood back and side, spruce top, more plain dot appointments, and it would have a volute. Now this guitar is a little different in that it doesn't have a proper diamond style that you would expect on a volute. But anyway, let's get into it and talk about this guitar. The first thing that this guitar needs, obviously and most clearly, is a new string. But not just any string. Let's check the action. Is this thing painfully high? And it's not. It's not too bad. But this guitar does need new strings. Has an old pickup on the top here. If you're wondering what this thing is, that is just a little piezo. And so with that, you'd have, looks like a headphone or like a 3.5 mil coming out of there. And look, there's a little cable tie down here. I don't know if you can see that. But overall condition. Solid Sitka spruce top on this guitar. I'm sneaking in here to look and see if I can see the grain of the wood going all the way through the top of the guitar, and I can. So that's a very good sign. Solid Sitka spruce top, laminate rosewood back and sides. Before I get too into it, let's just look at this thing. We'll flip it around, so we're going to see a lot of things. So, beautiful Sigma tuners on here. I haven't checked the date on this guitar, but I believe this thing is from the 80s. Those scream 1980s Martin era logos. Has a volute, unlike other Martins. Normally, Martins would have either the diamond on the back, or they would just be smoothed over like an 18 style or a 28 style. So the neck is straight and clean. The back of the guitar definitely has some play wear, a little bit of haziness, but overall that's a really pretty looking piece of rosewood on the back. I'm curious to hear how this guitar sounds when we get it all together. I did notice on the sides, you can see there's a lot of hazing. This guitar just needs a real proper cleaning and some TLC. It's interesting. At first I thought this might be a crack, but it's not a crack because it's symmetrical. So it's just book matched. It has these lines that run across. But this guitar overall in really good shape. Let's look again at that back strip. There's the DR-28. There's a serial number, and then there's another number. So Miss Martha, who owns this guitar, as she's gotten older, she isn't able to play steel strings. And so she loves this guitar, but wants it to play easier. So let's make that happen. So I'm going to use some of these I'm going to use some of these. These are Martin silk and steel strings. Now these are similar to a classical string, but they have a silk core and then a steel wrap. They're softer, but they still feel like and keep the character of a steel string guitar. I got these from C&M Music, my local music shop down here in South Louisiana. Put a link for them down in the description down below. Cool guys. They've supported musicians in South Louisiana for a long time, and they just picked up Ferk guitars. Anyway, it's a whole side thing. Go check out C&M. But we're gonna put some. We're gonna put these bad boys on there. This is the Sigma DR-28. Now this is serial number 802145, and there's also this weird little strip inside that says S4199S. Now, here's the quick story on Sigma. Back in 1970, Martin saw the writing on the wall. Your grandma, your grandpa, all those kids, all those teens of the 1960s were falling in love with folk music. Bob Dylan, all of those guys, Joan Baez. There was a huge glug of beautiful, amazing acoustic music that was coming, and all of the young players wanted to learn how to play it. So that meant there needed to be affordable, cool guitars that normal people could afford and that normal parents could buy for their kids. Martin saw other brands starting to do this better. And so they knew that it was time that they needed to get in the game or miss it altogether. And that's where Sigma comes in. Sigma, the original ones had the epsilon on them, or had the Sigma logo, which means of exceptional value, of exceptional quality. And overall, this thing lives up to that. Built in Japan, and these were then shipped back to Nazareth, Pennsylvania. So then they were checked out, checked over, set up, made sure that they were good before they got sent out to dealers and sent out to stores. By the late 70s, Sigma switched pretty much all of the Martin style vernacular in their models to fit into the Sigma models. So Sigma models that you would know and their Martin equivalents. So they had the DR-28, which is this guy. They also had a DR-35, which was a three-piece back, made to look and feel like a Martin D35. They also had some of the nicer, bougier ones, like the DR-41 and the DR-45. I saw one of those on Facebook Marketplace the other day. Make a mental note, Jeremy. Okay, I'll see if I can find that one on Facebook Marketplace. It was like $350. Not crazy, but it wasn't one of these that was made in Japan. That one was made later because it had some different things. Now, all these guitars were built with exceptional specs, like solid spruce tops, laminate back and sides. They had really good, legitimate guitar tone. This guitar sounds really, really good. Now, part of that, the thump and the bass and the low end, comes from the silk and steel strings on this. But man, oh man, this thing is exciting and sounds really good. So these had the pedigree, the tone, the look of a Martin, but they had a much friendlier price tag. And that's what made them so exciting for a lot of people. Now, dating them is pretty tricky. The serial numbers aren't sequential in the way that you would hope for or expect from a brand like Martin or other brands. And so because of that, you just have to take some general cues and style. So the headstock logo, if there's a sticker on the back, if what the serial number on the back says, the main thing that you would want to see is what this guitar has. Sigma guitars made in Japan for C.F. Martin and Company. That's what's inside this. So that puts this into the real golden era of this, somewhere between 1970 and the early 1980s. After that, production moved to Korea and quality came down a bit. After that, they moved to Taiwan and eventually Indonesia, and the quality kept getting lower and lower. Think about the guitars that you've known and played that were made in the 1980s, 1990s, from India, or from Indonesia, from Korea, from those countries. It's just, that's what you would expect, and that's reasonable. By 2007, Martin had built up their own ability to make affordable guitars and put the full Martin name on them, and so they pulled the plug on Sigma guitars. Now, that's not the end of Sigma guitars. In 2011, they were taken over by a German company called AMI. So if you've seen a modern Sigma, great guitars, bright, beautiful inlays, really clear tone, really cool models. I don't see very many of them in the US, but a lot of my YouTube subscribers and Instagram followers have sent me pictures of Sigmas over the years. And so those are great guitars made in China, modern production, based in Germany. And so Sigma lives on. But this thing definitely has a fun place in Martin history. I almost think that this sounds better than the Martin Shenandoahs of that same time period. So the bottom line is this. The DR-28 is a blue collar D28. It's not a collector's piece, but it is a beautiful music-making partner. Solid spruce top, good tone, great playability, and the single thing that this has that a Martin at the time that was 5 times the price is that this guitar has an adjustable truss rod. That's a big deal. If you know, you know. So, big tone, great songs, sonorous voice, and zero pretense. It's really cool. It has a logo that harkens back to its Martin roots, but it still feels unique and like it's its own thing. So, man, so cool. Thanks for watching this video. I'm Jeremy. I'm the Guitar Hunter. This has been the DR-28 that belongs to such a sweet little old lady at my church. It is set up. It plays great. The action is low. I didn't have to do anything to the action, but I just cleaned the fretboard, cleaned the frets. By the time I put silk and steel strings on, the action was already low and light, and now this guitar is really comfortable and plays just so well. This thing has lived to tell the tale of playing just evangelistic music in New Orleans. How cool is that? So, see you later. I'm Jeremy. Make sure you're subscribed. In 2007, Martin pulled the plug on Sigma guitars, as we know, and that didn't mean the end of them, but it did mean a Hang on, I'm gonna go yell at a dog.